Welcome to Whisper at 3 a.m., where stories are only meant to be heard after midnight. Here, we share chilling experiences, untold secrets, and whispers that only come when the clock strikes 3. If you enjoy horror stories in the style of Reddit No Sleep, don't forget to like, subscribe, share to spread the fear, and comment if you're brave enough to share a story of your own. Now, turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and prepare to step into the dark. The Notebook with No Sender. I'm not the kind of person who checks the mailbox every day, who even sends letters anymore. But that evening, what caught my eye wasn't a letter. It was a reddish-brown smear leaking from the metal slit. I stood there for a moment, just looking at it, thought it might be ink or a dead bird stuffed in there by some kid playing a nasty prank, until I saw what was inside. A small notebook, grid paper, no title on the cover, just a single smeared handprint, dark and dried. I put on gloves, I gardened, and pulled it out. Something inside me whispered, "Don't open it." But I did. Inside was a list, one name per page, all handwritten in black ink, no addresses, no notes, just names. I was about to toss it. I really was, until I read the fourth one. Michael Tran. Michael was my friend. Died just last week. Car accident. I hadn't even processed it yet. We'd been on a video call the night it happened, 10 minutes before he crashed. I flipped back to check the 3 names before his. John Hargrove, didn't ring a bell. Linda Voss, a high school teacher of mine, died in 2019, heart failure. Casey Milton, girl from elementary school, went missing, never found. My stomach turned. Then I flipped to the next page. Line 5, empty, except for one letter faintly written, D. I didn't sleep that night. Next morning, I opened the notebook again. Another name had appeared. Danielle Hayes. She just joined our office team 3 weeks ago. We'd had coffee once. Not close, but I remembered her name clearly. I called her. No answer. The following morning, my supervisor broke the news. Danielle was hit by a train last night, died on the scene. I went to the police. I told them everything, showed them the notebook, walked them through the names, the timing. The officer flipped through it, his brow furrowed. "It's just a list of names," he said. "There's no crime here." I could see it in his face. He thought I was unwell. Maybe I was. The next day brought another name. Gregory Watts. We'd been college roommates for 1 semester. I messaged him, "Hey man, how are you?" He replied, "Alive. Why?" I told him, "Please, just don't go anywhere. Don't ask. Just stay in." He didn't get it, but he agreed. Next morning, Greg was found dead, gas leak in his apartment. I gave up trying to fight the notebook. I tried burning it. It came back perfectly intact. I buried it, found it under my pillow the next morning. I stopped checking it. Then it left a note on my bathroom mirror, on my phone's lock screen, on the back of a receipt in my wallet. Avoiding won't stop the list. Every day a new name, all people I've met, even just once, a neighbor I barely spoke to, someone who bought my old couch on Craigslist. It just kept going. Then one night I opened the notebook and saw the final line, blank, except for the first letter, a single ink stroke. E. My name is Evan. If you're hearing this, listen carefully. I'm not the last. The notebook doesn't need blood or addresses. It only needs memory. If you ever met me, even once, check your mailbox. It may already be there. My pen pal never grew up. I grew up in a small town where summers felt like quiet, lonely adventures. My parents worked full-time, and I was the only kid left in a neighborhood that had already outgrown playgrounds. So when my first grade teacher introduced the Pen Pal project, I was excited. Finally, a real friend. We each wrote a letter, tied it to a balloon, and let it go into the sky, hoping someone somewhere would find it and write back. I let go of a green balloon with a yellow string from my mom's sewing kit. I wrote my name, age, school, and a last line, "I like the woods behind my house." 3 weeks later, I got a letter. The handwriting was messy, black ink, no return address. Just, "I like the woods too. I saw your balloon stuck high in a tree. I had to climb to get it." Something about it felt honest, like it really was from a kid like me. I wrote back, told them about my cat, the fried fish my mom made, and asked their name. The reply came the next week. "I don't have a cat, but I saw one yesterday. It meowed real soft. I think it was hurt. My name is Robin." Robin. It was a nice name. I smiled all day when I read it. We wrote for months. Robin never said exactly where they lived, just not far and near big oak trees. I didn't question it. In my mind, Robin was just another small-town kid like me, alone, looking for connection. Their letters got more detailed. Robin said they saw me riding my bike once. I figured it was pretend. They described a house they saw from afar with a crooked chimney. Mine did have a crooked chimney. I laughed, thinking it was a good guess. Then came a letter that stopped me cold. I like sitting outside your window. You snore a little when you sleep. What did you dream last night? I froze. I showed my mom. She told me it was probably a joke. But that night, I locked my window, and I didn't write back. Robin kept writing. You didn't reply. I saw you throw away my letter. That made me sad. I cleaned up your backyard yesterday. I checked the yard. The piles of old leaves were gone. It looked unusually tidy. I didn't tell my mom. I stayed silent. But the letters kept coming, slipped through my bedroom window frame, never through the post. One winter night when I was 10, I noticed footprints on the snow-dusted windowsill. No one but my family knew I sometimes left my window cracked open to sleep. I cried myself to sleep. The next day, there was a folded piece of paper in my backpack. I'm sorry I scared you. I just wanted to be friends, but you don't want that. That's okay, I'll wait. Then, Robin disappeared. No more letters, no signs, nothing. I convinced myself I'd imagined it, that Robin was just a lonely child's invention. 15 years passed. I moved to the city, college, jobs, life, until my mom called, her voice shaking. Eli, someone left a letter in the mailbox, handwritten, no stamp, just says for Eli. Are you expecting anything? My heart stopped. I told her not to open it. She did anyway. Inside was a small note. I'm still waiting. Your window's higher now, but I can still climb. I drove home that night. Nothing looked disturbed. My mom hadn't seen anyone, but when I checked my old room, I found something that made my knees go weak. Under the bed where I used to hide toys was a torn page from one of my first grade notebooks. Robin, it said, I'm really happy you found my balloon. My original letter. I asked my mom. She'd never seen it. No one in our house kept it. Robin had saved it all these years. I changed the locks, installed cameras. For weeks, nothing happened. Then, at 2:37 a.m., my motion alert chimed. The front cam caught someone standing just beyond the fence, still, motionless, face unclear, staring up at the second floor, my old bedroom. I moved my mom to my apartment, but Robin followed. First, empty envelopes in my mailbox, then photocopies of my old letters, ones I hadn't kept but someone else had. Then photos of me taken from a distance, me walking to my car, eating at a diner, looking out my apartment window. I went to the police. They found nothing. I've changed addresses 3 times in 2 years. Every time I feel safe, a small folded paper appears under my door. No words, just a smell. Old paper, damp earth, like childhood, rotting slowly. Last night, I got the first new message in years. I'm not a kid anymore, but I'm still your pen pal. I don't know who or what Robin is. A lonely person? A spirit? A shadow raised by forgotten letters? All I know is when I tied that balloon string to my letter all those years ago, something tied itself to me, and it never let go. The smiling man. It happened 6 years ago, but I still think about it every time I walk alone at night. Back then, I was living in a small city. Not dangerous by any means, just too quiet. Especially after 10 p.m., the kind of place where the wind seems louder than traffic and the silence feels like it's watching you. I had a habit of taking late-night walks, couldn't sleep. My apartment was tiny, the walls too thin, and my neighbors, let's just say they fought more than they talked. So I walked, usually just a few blocks, listening to music, zoning out. Nothing ever happened. Until that one night. It was around 1:15 a.m. I remember exactly because I checked my phone just before I left. The weather was warm, the sky clear. I decided to go a little farther than usual, take the longer route through a street lined with old apartment buildings, most of them abandoned or under renovation. About 15 minutes in, I noticed him, a man, walking ahead of me on the opposite sidewalk. At first, I didn't think anything of it. He was tall, thin, wearing a faded suit. His walk was strange, too controlled, almost floaty, like he wasn't fully touching the ground. What really caught my eye, though, was his head. He was staring straight up into the sky, not glancing, not looking, just staring. Neck tilted all the way back, mouth slightly open. I stopped walking. He kept going. I crossed the street, trying to shake off the unease. Maybe he was drunk, or high, or just weird. But then he stopped, too, still looking up, still not moving. I didn't know why it bothered me so much. Maybe it was the stillness, the way the night suddenly felt too quiet, like the street itself was holding its breath. Then he moved, not towards me, not away. He started dancing. It was subtle at first, a small sway like someone moving to music only they could hear. Then a step, a twirl, a wide, sweeping gesture like an exaggerated bow. But what chilled me wasn't the dance. It was his face. At some point, without me noticing, he had lowered his head, and now he was staring at me. And smiling. Not a polite smile, not even a creepy grin. This was something else. Wide, stretching unnaturally across his cheeks, teeth bared, eyes wide open, unblinking, like he was performing joy, mimicking it, and he was still dancing. I took a step back. He mirrored me. Same step, same direction, still smiling. My chest tightened. Every instinct told me to leave. But I didn't want to run. Running felt like a mistake, like prey. So I turned around, walked calmly. 1 block, 2. I didn't look back, but I heard footsteps, not rushed, not quiet, just deliberate, rhythmic. I glanced over my shoulder. He was there, half a block behind, dancing, every step in sync with mine, and still smiling. I sped up. He matched. I turned the corner sharply, hoping to lose him, but he was fast. He glided after me, arms swinging in exaggerated circles now, like a puppet with too many joints. The grin never wavered. I broke into a jog. He didn't run. He just kept dancing, effortlessly keeping pace. By the time I reached the next intersection, I was breathing hard. No cars, no people, just me and him. Closer now, still smiling, still dancing. I cut across the street, heading for a 24-hour laundromat I remembered seeing a few blocks back. Light, cameras, witnesses. I didn't look back again, didn't need to. I could feel him, gliding behind me. The laundromat's fluorescent lights buzzed as I pushed through the door. The place was empty, except for a woman folding towels in the corner. She looked up, startled by how fast I entered. I mumbled something about a strange man, not sure how to explain. Then I turned to point, but he wasn't there. The sidewalk was empty. I waited. Minutes passed. Nothing. I stayed in that laundromat for almost an hour. Eventually, I walked home, took the main roads, stayed under the streetlights. I never saw him again. Not that night. But that wasn't the end. 2 weeks later, I was at a diner near my building. Late again. Couldn't sleep. I sat by the window, nursing a coffee, when I noticed a man across the street, standing under a flickering lamp, not dancing, not smiling, just staring. I squinted. He was wearing a faded suit, too far to see his face clearly, but the shape, the posture, it felt the same. I looked away for a second, looked back, gone. After that, I started seeing him more often, always at night, always far enough away that I couldn't be sure. In reflections, in passing buses, in the shimmer of security cameras, never closer than a block, never moving, just watching. It stopped after I moved cities. New place, new job, new life. For a while, I thought I'd imagined it all. Some sleep-deprived hallucination, a trick of light and fear, until last night. I was walking back from a friend's house just past midnight. Old habit, I guess. As I crossed an alley near my building, I heard it, the sound of shoes scuffing pavement, and then humming, a low, tuneless hum, followed by a laugh, soft, controlled. I froze, and slowly, ever slowly, I turned around. There he was, closer than ever. 10 feet away, still tall, still thin, still in that same faded suit, his head tilted slightly, his smile wider than before, and he wasn't dancing this time, just standing, arms at his sides, but the humming continued, even though his mouth never moved. I didn't run. I couldn't. I just stepped backward, 1 step, 2. He didn't follow, didn't flinch, just watched me go, with that impossible stretching grin. I haven't left my apartment since. The windows are covered, the doors locked, but sometimes late at night, I hear humming from the hallway and soft, deliberate footsteps, followed by a laugh, controlled, contained, like someone is performing it. I know he's still out there, still smiling, still waiting, and I think he enjoys the waiting more than the chase. There's a smell in my room that isn't mine. I know how this sounds. Hell, I'd laugh too if someone told me their bedroom smelled like farts and they thought it was supernatural. But it's been 3 months and I'm not laughing anymore, because I live alone, and the smell's only getting stronger. It started as a mild funk, like someone had let one slip and left. Slightly sour, a little warm. The kind of smell you ignore hoping it goes away. Except, it didn't. It was always there when I came home from work. At first, I figured it was the old plumbing. My apartment's in a beat-up building from the 60s, and things creak, groan, and leak at the best of times. So I bought air fresheners, candles, ventilated. Still, the smell lingered. Then one night, I noticed something odd. The smell wasn't always there. Sometimes I'd walk into the room and it would smell clean, like my detergent or the lavender spray I used. Then I'd go into the kitchen, come back 5 minutes later, and boom. It hit like a wall. Hot, pungent, embarrassing, even though I was alone. I started making notes. Times, dates, intensity. Yeah, I know how that sounds too, but I work from home. I had the time, and I needed to prove it wasn't in my head. Week 1, smell occurred once or twice per day, usually early morning or just after sunset. Week 2, it started showing up in the middle of the night, and I'd wake up choking on the stench. Week 3, I noticed things in the room weren't where I left them. Nothing huge, just off. A pen shifted a few inches, a book turned sideways, my pillow slightly rotated. Still, I didn't panic. Not yet, until I found the sock. I always sleep with socks on, cold feet thing. That Tuesday, I woke up with one sock gone. Annoying, sure, but not terrifying, until I found it the next morning, stuffed in the back corner of my closet, dry, folded, neatly placed. I hadn't touched the closet in days. At that point, I set up a camera, old webcam, motion detection, pointed at the bed. I didn't expect to find anything. Honestly, I was hoping I'd see myself farting in my sleep and putting the blame on ghosts, but the footage from Thursday night, it still makes my skin crawl. The video starts normal. Me, asleep, slight tossing. Timestamp reads 2:13 a.m. Then at 2:27, something moves behind me. Not clearly, not visibly, just a distortion, like heat waves above asphalt, a shimmer. And then my blanket shifts. No wind, no fan, no window open. It just lifts slightly, then settles again. At 2:28, I flinch in my sleep. Not from a bad dream. I check the sound. There was a noise, a wet, airy sound, like someone farted, right behind me. I didn't sleep that night. Didn't sleep the next one either. And then it escalated. The smell became constant. It moved. I'd be in the kitchen, and the air would go thick, heavy, like a fart cloud had walked into the room and pulled up a chair. I'd leave, go to the living room. It would follow, slowly, creepingly. It didn't matter how many windows I opened. The smell had weight, presence. It felt personal. A friend suggested I call a plumber. Another said maybe it was a dead animal in the vents. One guy joked that I had a flatulent ghost and offered to do an exorcism with Febreze. I smiled, laughed even. But inside, I was terrified because I'd started hearing breathing. It began softly, like someone asleep across the room. Shallow, rhythmic breaths, only audible if I lay completely still without headphones or white noise. At first, I thought it was my own echo. Then one night, I held my breath, and the breathing didn't stop. I moved to the couch, slept in the living room for a week. No smell, no breathing, nothing. Until the 8th night. I woke up to that same pungent heat pressed against my face. It was in the blanket, the exact same smell. I threw it off me and ran into the kitchen. It followed. That day, I called my landlord. He came by, sniffed around, and shrugged. "It's an old place," he said. "Sometimes weird smells happen." I showed him the footage. He squinted, leaned close, then laughed. Probably a lighting glitch. He didn't believe me. Nobody does. I tried cleansing. Sage, salt, the works. All it did was make the fart smell spicier, like burnt herbs and rot. I even tried a priest. He walked in, took one whiff, and said, "You sure it's not just your diet?" He didn't stay long. Then the dream started, always the same. I'm lying in bed, frozen. The room is dark, but something is moving. Crawling up from the foot of the bed, invisible, but heavy. It settles behind me. Warm air brushes my ear. Then, always, the sound. Wet, gurgling, close. I wake up gagging, and the smell is always real. Last week I found something under the bed. Not dust, not lost socks, a small pile of cloth. Children's clothes, too small for me, stained, yellowed with age, and underneath them, a cracked photo frame. Inside, a picture of a boy, 6, maybe 7, blank eyes, pale face, a slight smile, written on the back, "You can't hold it in forever." I've asked the landlord again. He claims no record of any previous tenants matching that description. Says I'm imagining things, but the picture didn't lie. And now it's getting worse. 2 nights ago, I woke up to find my bed wet, not soaked, just damp, like someone had been sweating or something else. The stench was unbearable. I stripped the sheets, threw everything to a trash bag, and left it on the curb. Next morning, it was back in the room, folded, clean, no smell, but the closet door was open, and I never opened the closet. Today, I found a note, not typed, not printed, scrawled in marker, taped to my bedroom wall. It's not gas, it's me. I tore it down, tore the entire wall apart, looking for cavities, vents, hiding spots. Nothing, just dust, and that lingering smell. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what it wants, but it's not leaving, and neither is the smell. I've stopped telling people. They think it's funny or gross or both. But when you live with something long enough, it stops being funny, stops being gross, and starts feeling alive. Tonight, the smell came before I even got inside. It was waiting in the hallway, seeping out from under the door. And when I stepped in, there was no smell, no sound, just a note on the pillow. You smell nice when you're scared. I'm writing this from a hotel room. The air is clean, but I keep smelling something on my clothes, like it's soaked into my skin. No one else can smell it, just me. And when I close my eyes, I hear the breathing. Closer, like hungrier. If I disappear, tell them it wasn't the smell, it was what came with it. Because now, even silence stinks. I got a package every day for a week. I only opened one. I live alone. That's not a cry for sympathy. It's just context. My mailbox doesn't fill up fast, and my porch stays empty. So when I came home Monday evening and saw a brown package sitting neatly at my door, I was more surprised than anything. No return address, no postage, just my name. To Jack. I hadn't ordered anything, but it was light, silent, about the size of a shoebox. I brought it inside, turned it over in my hands. The tape was clean, almost surgical. I didn't open it that night. I figured it was a mistake, or some weird marketing stunt. But Tuesday, there was another. Same size, same handwriting. Still no postage, still no delivery confirmation, just sitting there. By Wednesday, it wasn't funny anymore. Now there were 3 boxes stacked at my door. Same time, same arrangement, like someone wanted me to notice the repetition. I brought them inside, lined them up on my kitchen table. They didn't buzz, didn't smell, didn't move, but something about them felt intentional. I texted everyone I knew. Nobody admitted to sending them. I even checked with my landlord. He shrugged. Probably Amazon. You people order crap constantly. I didn't, not even groceries, but that night I opened one, just one. The tape peeled away without resistance. Inside, a single Polaroid photo, blurry, grayish, looked like a wall. I tilted it under the light. No, wait, it was a corner of a room. Mine. I recognized the paint, the worn edge near the baseboard, but the photo wasn't taken from any angle I'd ever seen. It was from behind something, like someone hiding under the bed, taking a shot while I wasn't home. I didn't sleep that night, didn't even stay in the apartment. I packed a bag, crashed at my brother's place, told him it was a plumbing thing. The next morning, I came back to check. There was another package, same spot. Now 4 in total. I didn't touch them. I set up a camera, old webcam, motion detection, pointed at the front door. Then I left for work. All day I kept checking the feed. Nothing. Then, at 6:43 p.m., the frame glitched. Just for a second. When it came back, the package was there. Nobody. No movement. Just like a jump in the footage. Thursday night, I opened the second box. Another photo. This time, the hallway outside my bedroom. Dark. Just barely lit by the nightlight I always keep on. Again, the angle was wrong. Too low, too hidden, like someone crouching outside the door, watching. I showed the photos to my friend Ashley. She said it looked like ARG stuff. Alternate reality game, she said. Maybe you're part of a viral campaign. I wasn't amused. Neither was the third box. It was heavier. Inside, a lock of hair, tied with a red thread. My stomach dropped. I ran to the bathroom, checked my hairline, nothing obvious missing, but how would I know? What if it wasn't mine? What if it was? Friday, I didn't go to work. I stayed home, sat by the window, watched the porch all day. Nobody came, no footsteps, no shadows. At 6:43 I blinked, and the 5th package was there, waiting. I didn't open it, I didn't want to know. Instead, I opened box 4. It contained a note, typed on yellowed paper, old font, dot matrix maybe, only one sentence. He's almost ready. No signature, no explanation. That night, I barricaded the front door, chairs, shelves, even a broom handle wedged through the doorknobs. I checked every lock, every window. Then I sat in the center of the living room, baseball bat in hand, and waited. At 6:43, all the lights went out. Not flickered. Cut. Cut. Silence filled the apartment like smoke. Then, from the hallway, a click. Not a loud one, not dramatic. Just the soft snick of a door opening. My bedroom. I couldn't move. My limbs were locked, breath held. Then a second sound. Slide! Like something being pushed across carpet. I don't know how long I sat there. Eventually, the lights came back. The hallway was empty, but box 6 was on the coffee table. I hadn't heard the door. I hadn't heard anything. Saturday, I left, checked into a hotel, paid cash, no forwarding address, I needed distance. But Sunday morning, housekeeping knocked, I opened the door. Nobody there, just a small brown package at my feet. To Jack. I opened it in the hotel bathroom. Inside, a mirror, cracked, and written across it in red marker. Do you see him now? I threw it away, packed up, drove 3 towns over, rented a tiny cabin, off-grid, no Wi-Fi, no phone. I needed time to think, to breathe. Monday evening, 6:43, there was a knock. I froze. No one knew I was here. I peeked through the window. Empty porch. I opened the door a crack. Nothing, just wind. Then I looked down. Box 7. I didn't open it. I don't want to know what's inside. I buried it, deep, behind the cabin. But sometimes at night, I hear scratching beneath the floorboards. And when I wake up, I smell cardboard. I got a package every day for a week. I only opened 6. And I think that's why I'm still alive. For now. The long face. I found a USB stick in my new apartment. When I moved into the apartment, it was empty in that weird way only old spaces can be, like it had been waiting for someone too long. The walls were yellowed, and the windows let in more dust than light. But the rent was cheap, and I needed a new start. The landlord, a man with skin like leather and hands that never stopped shaking, said it had been vacant for 2 years. Previous tenant disappeared, he said. No family, no one came looking. I didn't ask more. I should have. The first few days were uneventful. I unpacked slowly, explored the neighborhood. The building was mostly retirees, and the hallways always smelled like soup and bleach. It wasn't great, but it was quiet. Then, on the 4th night, I dropped my phone behind the radiator. While reaching down, my fingers brushed something cold. Plastic. I pulled it out, a USB stick. No label. Scratched black casing. The connector slightly bent. I stared at it for a long time. It shouldn't have been there. The radiator hadn't been cleaned in years. Layers of dust confirmed that. Still, I plugged it into my laptop. Only one folder. Named Face. Inside, 10 video files, each labeled numerically. Trial 1.mp4 through 10.mp4. I clicked the first. The screen stayed black for 3 seconds. Then, slowly, it brightened to reveal what looked like security cam footage of a living room. Couch, coffee table, TV on a stand, no sound. The room was empty. Then, movement. A figure walked into frame. Tall, too tall. Its back was to the camera. It stopped in front of the couch, stood there, unmoving. Then the video ended. I sat there, heart in my throat. That living room, it looked a lot like mine. Same wall texture, same scuffed floorboard near the coffee table. I replayed it, paused, rewound. The grain was poor, but the shape of the room, the layout, it was identical. Except I didn't own a couch yet. I clicked Start 2.mp4. Same room. This time, the figure was closer to the camera. Still tall, slender. But its proportions were wrong. Too narrow at the waist. Too elongated in the limbs. Its head seemed to tilt at an unnatural angle, almost sideways. No face visible. The figure stood near where the camera must be mounted. Its hand reached forward, and the screen cut to black. The next 3 videos showed nothing new, just the figure. Closer, each time more distorted, almost pixelated around the head, but not from the compression. It was like the camera couldn't process what it was seeing. Then came 6.mp4. This one was different. The camera was on the floor, tilted sideways. The angle faced the couch from below. I could see 2 feet, pale, bare. 1 foot slowly lifted and stepped forward. A shadow loomed. Then, a face, bent down into frame. It was long. Unnaturally long. The jaw stretched below the neckline. The mouth was wide open, not in a scream, but in a frozen, slack expression, like it had forgotten how to close. The eyes were just holes, not empty sockets, just the absence of eyes. A void. I slammed the laptop shut, unplugged the USB, threw it into a drawer, and left the apartment. I didn't come back until morning. The next day, I searched online. No reports about missing tenants in my building, no legends, no urban myths, just silence, too clean. I considered leaving, but I couldn't afford another move, not yet. That night, I tried to sleep. At 3:04 a.m., I woke up. Something was off. The room was too quiet and too cold. I sat up. The USB was on my nightstand, right next to me. I hadn't touched it. I hadn't opened that drawer. I stared at it for an hour before plugging it in again. 2 more videos had appeared. And while after 12, I clicked 11 MP4. This time, the footage was from my bedroom. I knew it instantly. The chipped paint near the closet, the uneven light from the ceiling bulb. The camera was static, facing the bed, empty, until around 45 seconds in, the figure stepped into frame. Slow, graceful. The long face tilted forward, its mouth moved, opened, then wider, until it split the jaw entirely, down the neck. No sound, just a black yawning hole. It bent over the bed, looking directly into the lens, then cut to black. 12p4 began in pitch darkness. I thought it was broken, but then I saw the faintest glimmer, moonlight on a doorknob. It was filming from inside a closet, my closet. Breathing started. Not mine. Something slow, wet, then a whisper. Indistinct. Then clear. I see you now. I deleted the files, formatted the USB, smashed it with a hammer, swept up every piece, threw it down the garbage chute. I moved out the next week, didn't pack much, left half my stuff behind. I just needed to be gone. New apartment, new city, new life, no more USBs, no more nightmares. But last night, my phone buzzed. Unknown number, no message, just a video. I shouldn't have opened it. The angle, it was my new bedroom. But I wasn't in the frame until I looked closer, at the far corner, just beyond the edge of light. A shape, long, still, smiling. The black square. I bought the painting at a flea market, $5, buried in a stack of framed junk. It was nothing special, just a square canvas painted entirely black. No texture, no brushstrokes, just a perfect matte void. I didn't even want it. But something about it made me reach out, touch it. Cold, too cold for a summer afternoon. I told myself it would look edgy on the wall, modern, mysterious. So I bought it. The vendor smiled too wide as he handed it over. Said, "It doesn't like the dark." I laughed, thought he was joking. He wasn't. I hung it above my bed. It looked out of place, floating like a hole in the wall. My room had pale blue walls, warm lighting, cozy vibes, and then this thing, a flat black square that refused to reflect anything. I tried to ignore it, but that first night, I noticed something odd. When I turned off the light, the square didn't vanish. It stayed visible. Not because it glowed, but because the black was blacker than the dark. It was like staring at a piece of midnight while the rest of the room was merely night. I didn't sleep well. In the morning, I checked it again. Still black, still cold. I tried tapping it. Felt like wood underneath, not canvas, not paint. No give, no echo. I ran a flashlight over it. The light stopped, like the blackness absorbed it. No reflection, no shimmer, nothing. That night, I dreamed of a room with no windows, just a black square on every wall. I couldn't wake up. The air was heavy, and something behind one of the squares was breathing. I tried taking it down, but when I reached up to lift it off the nail, my hand froze an inch away, literally, like I hit a wall of ice. My skin went numb. I yanked back and fell off the chair. The square didn't move. It never moved. I covered it with a towel. An hour later, the towel was on the floor. I tried taping cardboard over it. The tape peeled away overnight. I nailed a blanket into the wall, woke up to find it shredded. The square never made a sound, but I started hearing whispers, just outside the edge of hearing. When I turned my head, they stopped. I asked a friend, Amy, to come over. She's into weird art, occult stuff. I thought maybe she'd recognize it. She took one look and paled, asked where I got it. I told her. She didn't laugh. Instead, she stepped forward, leaned in close, and then she whispered, "Don't stare too long." I asked why. She didn't answer. She just left, blocked me the next day. By the end of the week, things escalated. My lights flickered every night at exactly 3:13 a.m. Every night without fail. One night I stayed up to watch. At 3:13, the room went dark. Not just dim. Void. I couldn't see my own hands. Then the square changed. It expanded. Slowly. Silently. from a square into a yawning mouth of black, stretching down the wall toward the floor. Something stepped halfway through. I couldn't see details, just silhouette, tall, thin, wrong. Then the light snapped back on. The square was normal, but my carpet smelled like something had leaked through. I stopped sleeping in the bedroom, moved to the couch, but the black square haunted my dreams. I saw it on the ceiling, in the mirror, reflected in the water in my glass. My phone started glitching. Photos taken in daylight would turn out pitch black if the square was visible, like it bled into pixels. One night, I turned the square to face the wall. I laughed at myself, like that would help. That night, I woke up to find it back in position, facing me, closer than before. It was on the floor now, leaning against my nightstand. I never heard it fall, never heard it move. I gave up and took it to the dump, threw it into the deepest pit I could find. I watched them crush it with a compactor. I felt better, until I got home and found it on my bed. I moved apartments, left everything, new city, new number, new name. For a while it worked, until yesterday. I came home and found a package at my door, no label. Inside, the black square, smaller now, no bigger than a book, but the same black, same cold. It sits on my desk. I tried burning it, it won't catch. Tried drowning it, the water rejected it, literally floated above it. Tried burying it, woke up with soil in my mouth and the square on my chest. Last night I gave up. I stared at it for hours, and I saw through it, not like a window, more like a hole. On the other side, a room, empty. But something new I was watching, and it started moving toward me. Not fast, not slow, but direct. Now, I can't look away. If I do, it gets closer. Every blink makes it jump a little. I've covered all mirrors, turned off all lights. I sit in a circle of salt. Laptop open. Typing this because I think if I keep writing, it won't reach me. But I'm getting tired, and the square is growing. It's not a painting. It never was. It's a door, and it's almost open. The doll with the lifelike eyes. My grandmother's house always made me uneasy. It wasn't haunted or creaky. It was too still, like the house was pretending to sleep. When she passed, I inherited everything. The keys, the land, and everything inside. My parents didn't want it. Too many memories, they said. I think they just didn't want to sort through all the old things. So I moved in, alone. The attic was the worst part. A single light bulb dangled from the ceiling. The wooden floor groaned even when I didn't move. Boxes upon boxes lined the walls. Most were filled with dusty clothes, broken clocks, yellowed papers. But in the farthest corner under a moth-eaten quilt, I found a box labeled Emily. Just that. One name. Inside was a doll. Porcelain. Flawless. Dressed in a faded green dress with lace trim. Its black hair was perfect, braided into pigtails. The face was painted delicately, lips slightly parted, but the eyes, they weren't glass, they weren't painted. They were real, or at least they looked real, moist, reflective, almost aware. I closed the box, put it back under the quilt. That night, I heard footsteps above me, soft, childlike. The attic was locked, but still they paced, back and forth, back and forth. I didn't sleep. Morning came, the attic was empty, the box was open, the doll was sitting on the floor, facing the door. I told myself I'd left it like that. I hadn't. I moved it to the basement, shoved it into an old cabinet and locked it. That night, the footsteps came again, but now they were downstairs, slower, deliberate. I heard the cabinet door creak open, but I never heard it close. The next day, the doll was on the kitchen table, its head tilted, eyes locked on me. I threw it into a trash bag, drove 10 miles out of town, tossed it into a dumpster behind a diner. Felt silly, paranoid. Came home, breathed easier until I walked into the bedroom and found it sitting on my pillow, hands folded neatly, eyes wide open. I called my aunt. She knew the house better than anyone. When I mentioned the doll, her voice dropped. "You found Emily?" "Yeah," I said. "What's the deal?" A long pause. Then, "She was never yours." I demanded more. She refused. Just said, "Put her back where you found her, exactly how you found her, or she won't rest." So I did. Box, quilt, corner. I even apologized. The footsteps stopped for a while. Weeks passed. I tried to move on, but I started noticing things. Tiny things. Drawers slightly open, books rearranged, photos tilted. Then the dreams came, always the same. I'd be in the attic, box open, doll missing. Then I'd feel breath on my neck and wake up gasping. One night, I heard a whisper, not from the attic, from under the bed. "Why did you leave me?" I froze, didn't move, didn't breathe. The whisper came again, softer, closer. I missed you. I rolled out of bed, grabbed my phone light, shined it underneath, except a braid of black hair. The next morning, the doll was in the kitchen sink, soaked, eyes open underwater, still watching. I called a priest. He blessed the house, sprinkled holy water. The doll cracked slightly, hairline fractures across the cheek. He said that was a good sign. That night, she bled. The cracks oozed a dark, sticky fluid. I tried to clean it, but it kept coming. I locked her in a safe, taped it shut, wrapped it in chains, sank it in the lake behind the property, watched it disappear into the murky depths. Felt free. Until the next morning, when I opened the fridge and she was there. Cold. Smiling. I snapped. Took her to a furnace in the old barn, built a fire, tossed her in, watched the flames eat away the dress, the hair, the body blackened, the eyes boiled. She didn't scream, but something inside my head did. A high, sharp keening that split my skull. I passed out, woke up in my bed, no burns, no smell of smoke, and the doll sitting on the nightstand, pristine, not a scratch, just watching. I left that day, abandoned the house, moved states, changed numbers, but she followed. One morning I found her sitting in my car, seatbelt on, staring ahead. I left the engine running and walked away. I checked into a motel, slept one night, woke up to find her on the bathroom counter, face wet, eyes glistening. She'd been crying. I don't know what she wants. She doesn't hurt me, she doesn't speak anymore, but she's always near, always watching. Sometimes I wake up to find her at the foot of the bed. Other times, she's just in the corner of the room, waiting, patient. I'm writing this now because she's gone. For the first time in months, she's missing. I should be relieved, but I'm not, because I know what this means. I found a new box this morning, on my front porch, wrapped in the same moth-eaten quilt, labeled in familiar handwriting, for you. Inside, not the doll, just her eyes. Still moist, still blinking, still watching. Camera number 36. I work in security. Nothing glamorous, just a night shift gig at a regional storage facility. Think rows of metal units, motion sensor lights, and an office with too many monitors. The pay's fine. The hours suck. But I don't mind the quiet. Or at least I didn't. Until camera 36. We have 40 cameras total, all numbered. 35 monitor the exterior and main hallways. The last 5 are mounted inside select climate-controlled units. Special request by high-paying clients. Camera 36 points into Unit 12B, and something's wrong with it. I noticed it during a routine sweep. Every other feed was normal. Camera 36, grainy, fuzzy, like it was always on the edge of static. At first, I thought it was a wiring issue. Called maintenance. They checked the unit. Nothing. Signal fine. Lens clean. But when I looked again, the feed still shimmered, like heat waves, only in black and white. The weirdest part, the room was never empty. Every night from midnight to 3 a.m., something moved in the frame. Not clearly, not human, just a blur, always in the left corner. Never stepped forward, never left, just hovered, pulsing gently like it was breathing. I told my supervisor. He shrugged. Ghosts pay rent too, he joked. Classic Greg. The next night, I zoomed in. The blur shifted slightly, and then it looked up. I can't explain how I knew. It had no face, but the moment I zoomed, the thing reacted. Like it saw me, like it knew. I recoiled, pulled back the zoom, and the blur returned to stillness. I stopped watching after that. Tried to avoid the camera completely, but the feed would switch on its own. I'd be watching camera 12 or 27, and suddenly camera 36 would take over, filling the screen. The blur now closer. Every night, closer. 3 days ago, Unit 12B's renter showed up. Nice woman. Said she wanted to retrieve some things. I hesitated. Told her we were experiencing technical issues. She insisted. Said it had been months since she visited. Said she had stored old furniture, baby clothes, and a box of tapes. I froze. Tapes? I asked what kind. Home videos, she said. Mostly of my daughter, before she disappeared. I asked more. She clammed up. Said she didn't want to talk, just wanted her things. I let her in. She was inside for 12 minutes. When she came out, she looked pale, didn't speak, didn't even say goodbye, just drove off. That night, the camera feed was crystal clear. No more static, no more blur, just the unit. Empty, except for something in the middle. A chair, facing the camera, and in the chair, a tape. I went down myself, keys shaking in my hand, opened Unit 12B, cold, stale, dust everywhere, except the chair and the tape. Labeled in marker, 36, I brought it to the office. We still had an old player. I watched it alone. The footage was dark, low quality, but slowly shapes emerged. A room, small, familiar, like a child's bedroom, and a girl, maybe 5, sitting on the floor, coloring. No sound. She looked up, smiled, waved, then pointed at the screen, at me. I paused it, rewound. She did it again, point, smile, directly at the camera, no one else in the room. Halfway through the tape, the screen went black for a full minute. Then, a static burst in a different room, the storage unit. Camera 36's angle, the girl now standing older, maybe 10. Same smile, same wave. Then she opened her mouth, no sound, but she mouthed a word. Help! I shut it off, but the feed on camera 36 had changed again. Now it showed the chair, and the girl, sitting, still smiling, still staring. She stayed for hours, unmoving, until 3 a.m., then she vanished. I reviewed the tape again, slowed it frame by frame, found something. A flash of an image between static frames. One of the monitor screens. My monitor screen, showing me, watching her. I unplugged everything, shut down the system, went home, didn't sleep, didn't come back the next day. Greg called, left a voicemail, said something weird happened. All the feeds were normal, except camera 36. It showed my apartment, me, sleeping. But I haven't slept since Tuesday. I went back today, I had to know. The chair was gone, the tape too. Unit 12B was empty. But on the monitor, camera 36 still showed the room, still showed the chair, still showed the girl, now whispering. No sound, just lips moving over and over. Same word, watch. I tried quitting, told Greg I was done. He laughed, said the system doesn't let you leave, said once you see her, she sees you, said camera 36 doesn't record, it remembers. I smashed the monitor, broke the player, burned the tape, left. But tonight my phone lit up, unknown number, a single video file, label P4, it won't delete, it won't stop playing, and in the reflection on the screen, I see her, behind me, smiling. The house with painted doors. I bought the house because it was cheap, ridiculously cheap. Like something's wrong, but I was too desperate to care, cheap. 2 stories, built in the 1950s, weather-beaten exterior, overgrown lawn, but the bones were solid and the paperwork was clean, mostly. The only weird thing, every interior door was painted shut. Not just locked, painted. Thick strokes of glossy white enamel sealing the edges. The hinges, the knobs, the seams, all coated over. I asked the agent, she hesitated, said the previous owner had security concerns. No further explanation. I assumed paranoia or DIY gone too far, didn't ask more. I should have. The front door worked fine. So did the back. But every internal door, bathroom, bedroom, closet was sealed, except one, a door at the end of the upstairs hallway, painted like the others, but slightly ajar, just enough to show a sliver of black beyond. I moved in that weekend. Ripped open the kitchen door first, took hours, layers of paint like armor. Inside was fine, dusty, musty, but fine. That became my project, each day a new door, until I got to the one upstairs. The ajar door. It bothered me. Too dark inside. I tried opening it more, it wouldn't budge. I tried closing it, wouldn't move either. Just stuck, like it existed in a state of almost. That night I dreamt of it swinging wide open, and something watching me from inside. The next day I skipped it, worked on the linen closet instead. Behind the door, shelves, towels, and a single shoe. Children's size, just one. No dust on it. Weird things started happening. I'd close a door and find it open an hour later. Lights flickered at night, even though the wiring had just been redone. Footsteps in the upstairs hallway, always just after midnight. Always stopping at the ajar door. I tried ignoring it, didn't work. One night, I heard a knock from behind it, 3 short taps, nothing else. I didn't move, didn't breathe. Eventually, the silence returned. But when I checked the hallway, the door was open wider, by an inch. I called the agent, left a voicemail. She didn't respond. I tried finding the previous owner, no trace. No name on record, just a transfer title signed with a single letter, E. I tried sealing the door myself, painted over the edges, 3 layers, watched it dry. That night it was ajar again, paint curled and flaked on the floor like it had been peeled from the inside. I set up a camera, pointed at the door, let it record overnight. In the morning, the footage showed nothing, static from 12 to 12:16 a.m. Then the camera turned off, no sound. No movement, just cut. and when it resumed, the door was open, wider than ever. I finally worked up the nerve to look inside, shoved it open with my foot, expecting a room, found a hallway, unlit, narrow, walls covered in peeling floral wallpaper. I swear that hallway did not exist on the house plans. I stepped inside, just once. Cold air brushed past me, and I heard whispering. Not loud, but close. I stepped back, closed the door. It swung back open, 2 inches this time. I nailed it shut. Used furniture, blocked it with a bookshelf, a dresser, a desk, didn't matter. Next night, they were all pushed aside. No noise, no mess. Just moved. Like the door had politely asked them to step away. I went to the town archives, dug through property records, found blueprints from the 50s. The hallway wasn't there, but a note scribbled in red ink was. Leave the doors painted. I went home, tried painting every door again. The bathroom, the closets, the kitchen. Somehow the paint wouldn't stick. It bubbled, peeled, fell, like the house was rejecting it. Then the other doors started opening, by themselves, only at night, always slowly, always silently. I'd wake up to find the linen closet wide open, the children's shoe missing, bathroom light on, mirror fogged like someone had just showered. One night I heard humming, soft, off-key, coming from every room, and always that door at the end of the hallway, wider, every day, by an inch. I tried leaving, packed a bag, made it to the front door, but it was painted shut. I hadn't done that, and I didn't own white enamel paint. I went back upstairs. The hallway door was wide open now, and the whispers were louder, voices overlapping, chanting, weeping, laughing, and from within the hallway I saw more doors, all slightly ajar, all painted white. I don't sleep anymore. I sit with my back to the wall, watching that hallway, listening. Every night I hear footsteps, getting closer, coming through other doors on the other side. I think the house isn't a house. I think it's a mouth. And the doors are teeth, painted to keep them shut, to stop them from chewing, from swallowing. But I opened them, I scraped away the paint, I let them breathe, and now they won't stop. I found something yesterday, carved into the back of the door, a message, in jagged, childlike scrawl. If you paint them, they sleep. If you open them, they remember. I tried repainting again, faster this time, everything, every seam, hands shaking. I made it to the hallway door last. It was wide open. I stepped inside, painted the frame, but I dropped the brush, heard it roll into the darkness. Then, footsteps. Running toward me. I slammed the door, painted it shut. 1 stroke, 2, 3, covered every edge until the footsteps stopped, until the house sighed and fell silent. It's quiet now. The doors stay closed. I sleep a little, but sometimes I wake up to fresh brush marks on my skin, on the floor, on the ceiling, and the whispering has returned. The doors are painted, but they're not sealed. Not anymore. The white face in the window. I first saw it when I was 10. A white face. In the window. Perfectly round. Pale. No features. Just 2 dark hollows where eyes should be. It stared into my room from the backyard, pressed against the glass. I screamed. My parents rushed in, turned on the lights. Nothing there. Just condensation on the glass and my own reflection trembling back at me. They said it was a bad dream. Kids see things, my mom said. Windows reflect weird, my dad added. I believed them, until the next night, when I saw it again. It was closer this time, not on the outside, but behind the curtain, inches from me. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Then the light flicked on and it vanished. No trace, no sound, just the faint scent of something sweet and rotten. I stopped sleeping in that room. They moved me to the guest bedroom. New window, different angle. For a while it worked, until one night I rolled over and saw the same white face in the mirror behind me. That was 12 years ago. I'm 22 now. The face is still with me. Sometimes it disappears for months, then returns randomly, always through glass, never outside, always within. Elevator doors, microwave reflection, car mirrors, and always the same, white, round. Eyes like tunnels. I tried therapy, medication. They diagnosed me with sleep paralysis, night terrors, derealization, but no pill can explain a face that follows you into reflections. No dream can knock on your window at 2:14 a.m. Always 2:14. Exactly. I moved cities 3 times. Every time it found me again. Once in a store window, my face and its face overlapping in the glass. I dropped everything, ran. People stared. I didn't care. I started covering mirrors, avoided glass buildings, tinted my car windows so dark I could barely see. But still, it finds cracks, screens, puddles. One night, I spilled water on the kitchen counter, looked down. There it was, staring back. I finally told someone, my roommate Alan. He didn't laugh, didn't judge, just asked, "What does it want?" I didn't know. We set up a camera, faced it at the window where I last saw it, let it run all night. In the morning, we checked the footage. At 2:14 a.m., the camera glitched, just for a second. Then the screen went black for 5 minutes. When the feed returned, Alan and I were both asleep, but the camera had moved, tilted, now facing us. We stopped filming after that, but things got worse. It started appearing during the day, in my coffee, in a spoon, in the black of my phone screen when it turned off. The face never changes. No mouth, just those two dark holes. Watching. Alan began acting strange, withdrawn, pale. He stopped eating, stopped speaking. One night I found him sitting in the dark, facing the covered mirror, whispering. I pulled him away. He didn't blink, didn't look at me, just said, "It knows your name." I moved out. Lived in my car for a week, no mirrors, no screens, no glass. I felt safer. Until one night I woke up and found the windshield fogged, except for a clear circle, the size of a face, right above the steering wheel, on the inside. I finally confronted my parents, asked if they remembered the face. They went quiet. Looked at each other, then my dad said, "We hoped it would forget you." He told me when I was a baby, we lived in a house with too many windows. My crib was near one, and every night they'd find me crying, always at 2:14 a.m. One night, they saw it too, the face, outside the glass, smiling. They moved, painted over windows, but it came through reflections. They saw it watching me sleep, always expressionless, until one night, it opened its mouth, wide, too wide, and they heard my name, whispered. They thought I'd forget, that if no one said anything, it would fade, but it didn't. It waited, and now it remembers. I went back to the old house, found it abandoned, boarded up. Inside, the glass was broken in every room, every mirror smashed, except one, a long hallway mirror, still intact, still gleaming. I stood before it, waited. At 2:14 a.m., the surface rippled, and the face appeared, closer than ever. Its mouth opened, but this time, I heard it speak. "Come home." I smashed the mirror, ran, drove until sunrise, found a cheap motel, no glass, just plywood. But in the middle of the night, I heard knocking, not at the door, at the wall, 3 soft taps, then a whisper, "Come home." I don't know what home means. The house, the face, something older, but I'm tired. Tired of running, tired of seeing myself blurred with it, tired of windows that show me things I didn't know I had inside. Tonight, I sit by the window, curtain open, no lights. 2:13 a.m., I see nothing yet, but I feel it, in the glass, in my bones, the white face, waiting. I think I'll let it in this time. Always leave work on time. I used to think staying late made me look committed. Team player, going the extra mile, all that nonsense. But then I learned the rule, the one no one puts in the employee handbook. Always leave work on time. Every night, no exceptions. It started on a Thursday. I was 3 weeks into my new job at Dunsloe and Hartman, small law firm, stuffy but friendly. That night, I stayed past 6 p.m., wanted to get ahead of Monday's briefs. Everyone else had already cleared out. Office lights dimmed, halls silent. Felt peaceful at first, until I heard it. A shuffle. Not footsteps, just movement. Low. Slipping across the carpet. I called out, no answer. Probably cleaning staff, I thought. I went back to typing. Then the motion sensor lights in the hallway flicked on. Click, click, one by one, coming toward my office. No vacuum sound, no carts, just slow light and silence. I stood, peered into the hallway. Empty. That's when I saw the door at the end, the one that's always locked, storage or some unused archive. It was open, just slightly, a sliver of darkness inside. And for a split second, I thought I saw something looking back, white, low to the ground, and wrong. I left in a hurry. Didn't finish the briefs, didn't lock up, didn't care. The next morning, everything seemed normal. Door was shut, locked again. No one mentioned it. I almost convinced myself I imagined the whole thing, until I found the post-it on my monitor. Yellow. Blank, except for 3 words. Don't stay late. I asked around. No one claimed it. No one admitted to writing it. But their faces shifted. Something in their expressions like they knew. That night, I left at exactly 5:59 p.m. So did everyone else, even the senior partners. Some didn't even shut down their computers, just grabbed coats and walked out as if fleeing a burning building. I made it a rule from then on, no matter what, out by 6. I even set an alarm. One day I cut it close, printer jammed, emails piled up. By the time I grabbed my bag, it was 6:04. I sprinted to the elevator, it didn't come, pressed again and again, lights above stayed still, no ding, no movement. Then, a whisper behind me, just above my ear. Too late. I took the stairs, 12 flights, lights flickering, shadows in the corner of each landing, things that leaned when I turned my head. I didn't stop running. When I got home, I was soaked in sweat, windows locked, door bolted. I didn't sleep. The next morning, there was a bruise on my calf, like fingers. Long, thin, too long. I didn't tell anyone. I started noticing others who stayed late, new hires, temps, the ones trying too hard. One by one, they stopped showing up. No goodbyes, no farewell emails, just empty desks and awkward silence. No one ever asked, except me. The office manager gave me a look, flat, cold, and said, "They didn't follow the rule." I found another post-it the next day, same handwriting. "It waits behind the archive door." That weekend I broke in, came back Saturday evening. Office was dead. Used a stolen key, opened the archive door. Inside, rows of metal filing cabinets, dust hanging in the air like smoke. I stepped in. The air was wet, heavy. The lights didn't work. I used my phone flashlight. In the far corner, something moved. It was white and crawling, its limbs too many, too soft. And in the center, a face, smooth, featureless, except for the mouth, always open, always chewing. Not food, not paper, but something that sounded like names. I ran. Didn't look back, didn't lock the door. Monday morning, the archive door was gone, just a wall. No sign it had ever been there. No one mentioned it. I tried quitting, gave notice. Boss nodded, didn't ask why. But the next day, my contract was gone. Email wiped, badge invalid. It was like I'd never worked there, except I was still on the building roster, still got paychecks, still had a desk, still received tasks. Every time I tried to leave for good, something pulled me back. A call, a message, a meeting. I moved cities, new apartment, changed numbers, still got emails from HR, still got assignments, still had to log in every morning. And every night at 6 p.m., I had to shut it all down, or it would come. I'm writing this from the break room. It's 5:42. Everyone's gone already. I can hear the elevator dinging over and over. No one there. Just sound, like a countdown. There's another post-it on my laptop. It wasn't there before. Don't turn around after 6. It's 5:59 now. I'm gonna hit send, then I'm gonna leave, fast, because the lights just flickered, and I think the archive door is back. There's 1,600 words. Do not ever go on Snapchat. I used to think ghost stories were fake, that creepypasta was just for bored teenagers and lonely Redditors. But that was before what happened to me. Before I opened Snapchat at the wrong time. Before I saw what I was never meant to see. It started with a snap from a friend, just a goofy selfie. Rainbow puke filter. Caption, "Kill me, lol." Standard stuff. But when I tapped to reply, my phone glitched. Froze for a second, then went black. When it came back on, I was still in Snapchat, except the camera was open, pointed at me. No filter, no UI, just my face. And behind me, a silhouette. I spun around, empty room, no movement, no sound. I thought it was a bug, maybe a lens ghost, so I closed the app, restarted my phone, went about my day. That night, I got another snap from an account I didn't recognize. No Bitmoji, no name, just a string of numbers, 0000113. The snap was a video, 10 seconds, footage of my front door from outside. Someone was standing there, but the face was blurred. And in the last second, the camera tilted, like the person was looking up at my bedroom window. I didn't sleep that night. In the morning, I deleted the app, blocked the account, changed my passwords, thought it was over. It wasn't. 2 days later, I woke up to find my phone on the floor, still recording. The video was already 3 hours long. I scrubbed through. All it showed was my sleeping face until the very end, when something leaned into frame, white, featureless, no eyes, just a soft, pulsing blur, and it whispered, "Tag." I threw the phone, bought a new one, didn't install Snapchat, didn't even log in, felt safe, until my friend Amy texted, "Hey, did you just snap me? That filter is insane." I hadn't. I told her I didn't have the app anymore. She didn't respond. An hour later, she posted a story. I didn't want to look, but I did. It was me, standing in her driveway, head hilted, eyes blacked out. Caption, "He's outside." I called her, straight to voicemail. Next morning, she was gone. No note, no trace. Her Snap location froze on her house, never moved again. People started messaging me. "Yo, Utif, was that Snap? Are you okay? Was that your room?" I told them to block me, unadd me, run. Some listened, some didn't. The ones who didn't, they're all gone now. I tried going to the police, told them I was being stalked. They asked for proof. I showed them the videos. But when they opened the files, all they saw was static. No faces, no whispers, just white noise. They took my statement, never followed up. I'm not sure what it is, a virus, a ghost, something older, wearing the skin of an app. All I know is it spreads, through snaps. Every time someone views a tagged story, it jumps, and it remembers. My phone vibrates constantly now, new accounts, new numbers, always variations of 000033 Helcom. Every snap shows something closer, a hallway, a door, a handle turning, then my face, not scared, not surprised, just smiling, empty. I tried destroying the phone, microwaved it, smashed it, set it on fire. Next morning, it was back on my nightstand, charged, opened to Snapchat, camera pointed at me. I stopped looking, started taping the camera, stopped using mirrors, but it finds ways. I'll glance at the microwave. There it is, washer door, TV screen, anything with reflection. Its face, which looks more like my face every day. I haven't left my apartment in a week. Can't risk bringing it to others. People knock sometimes, neighbors, delivery guys, but I don't answer. One of them might not be real. One of them might already be tagged. I started writing names on the walls. People took Amy, Josh, Carla, Tyler. I'm running out of space. Last night I opened Snapchat again. Don't ask me why. Maybe I wanted closure. Maybe I wanted to see it coming. The app launched instantly. No delay. Camera opened. No filters. Just me. Behind me, the window. Black outside. But then, a face. White. Soft. Like a smudge of clay. It stared at me. Tilted its head and said, "Send this to 3 friends or keep it forever." I didn't send it. I'm not that cruel. But it's still here. Watching. Waiting. And now, every time I blink, I hear the notification chime. New snap from 000113. If you're reading this, don't open it. Don't tap. Don't look. And above all, do not ever go on Snapchat. Never ride between the train cars. In New York, taking the subway is just part of life. You squeeze in, hold your breath, and hope nobody pees in the corner before your stop. I thought I knew all the unspoken rules. Don't make eye contact. Don't stare at the guy talking to invisible demons. Don't sit on the poles. But I didn't know the rule, the one nobody puts in tourist guides. Never ride between the train cars. It was late. Past midnight. I'd missed my usual train and had to take the E-line back to Queens. Car was packed, even at that hour. Tourists, night shift workers, a guy with a full drum set balanced on a shopping cart. I couldn't breathe. So I slipped between cars, pushed open the door, stepped into the small connector space. Cool air, quieter, dark, smelled like rust and rain and something else, something older. I leaned against the wall, let the rattle of the tracks soothe my nerves. Then I noticed I wasn't alone. Someone was across from me, half hidden in shadow, a man, or something shaped like one. Tall, too thin, wearing a long black coat. His face was turned, staring at the city rushing by. I nodded politely. He didn't respond, didn't move, just stood there. Still, perfectly still, even as the train rocked. I felt a prickling in my gut. Something wasn't right. The connector swayed, my knees bent with the motion. His didn't. He was motionless, like gravity didn't apply to him. I cleared my throat. "Hey, which stop are you getting off?" No reply. His head turned. Slow, mechanical, and that's when I saw it. His face wasn't a face. It was blank. No mouth, no eyes, just smooth, pale skin stretched over a skull. I stumbled backward, grabbed the door handle. It wouldn't budge. The sliding door behind me locked. The one to the next car jammed. I was trapped. The thing took a step forward, not walking, coat not flapping, feet not lifting, just... I pounded on the glass, screamed. Inside the train, no one noticed. Everyone too tired, too zoned out, or maybe they just couldn't see this space. The lights flickered, then died. Darkness. Only the city lights flashing by, casting strobes. The thing was closer now, an arm raised, long fingers stretching toward me, skin paper thin, veins black beneath it. I dropped to the floor, slid under the door, felt something brush my back, cold, greasy, like old rubber gloves. Then, light. The doors opened. A station. I scrambled inside the car, heart pounding, collapsed into a seat. Everyone stared. Some rolled their eyes as if I was just another subway lunatic. The train moved on. I didn't look back. At home, I tried to sleep, but every time I closed my eyes, I saw it. That blank face, the way it moved without moving, the way it watched without eyes. Next day, I Googled it. Blank face subway man. Train car connector creature. Dozens of threads scattered across forums, all similar. Don't ride between the cars. He watches the gaps. The blank one. One comment chilled me. Once you see him, you're part of the route. I stopped taking the subway, walked to work, took buses, avoided train stations altogether. For a while, it worked, until I saw him again. Reflected in a bus window, just for a second, standing between two train cars on a passing Q train. Facing me, even through glass, I felt it. The pull. That night, I found a Metro card in my mailbox. No envelope, just the card. Loaded with $2.75, enough for one ride. And a note, you left something behind. I card and note, ash in the sink. Didn't matter. Next morning, it was on my pillow. Same card, same amount, same message. I moved apartments, changed jobs, left the city. Thought I was free, until the dream. I was on the train again, same car, same time. The doors opened and I chose to step into the gap. He was waiting. Closer now. Hand outstretched. But in the dream, I took it. Fingers wrapped around mine. Cold. Slick. He whispered, your transfer is complete. I woke up holding the Metro card. Now it was loaded with infinite rides. No expiry date, no balance, just a label burned into the back. Between. I've tried destroying it. Hammer. Acid. Fire. It won't break. Every morning it's back in my pocket, and every time I pass a train station I hear the door slap, hear that space call. Yesterday I blacked out, woke up standing between two train cars. Didn't remember getting on. He wasn't there. Not yet. But the doors had locked behind me. I'm sending this now, while I still can, before the next station, before the next door opens, because I think the gap is getting wider, and once I fall in, I won't come back. So please, if you ever take the subway, if you're ever tempted to step between cars, don't, even if it's empty, even if it's just for air, because once you're seen, you're part of the line. I was a part of the Queen's Guard in England. People think it's all about standing still. That being one of the Queen's Guard is just standing in a red uniform, holding a rifle, ignoring tourists, but that's just what they see. They don't know the rest. They don't know what happens at night. I was stationed at Windsor Castle in 2019. Young, fresh out of training, thought I'd made it. It felt like history, like stepping into another world. The ceremony, the strictness, the eyes on you 24/7, but I loved it. At first, each guard shift was 6 hours. Rotation varied, morning, afternoon, night. The night shifts, they were different. Quieter, yes, but also off. There was a tension in the air, like the castle itself was holding its breath. I didn't notice it much until the incident. It was a cold November night. I was assigned the North Courtyard, just me. Towering walls on all sides, the kind of dark that eats flashlight beams. Midway through the shift, I heard it, a clang. Metal on stone, not loud, but sharp, deliberate. I turned toward the sound. Standard procedure, scan, assess, remain still, but nothing moved. Courtyard was empty. I resumed position. A minute later, clang. Closer now, still no movement. Then a breeze rolled through, bitter cold like it came from inside the stone. I gripped my rifle, tried to slow my breathing. Then I saw it, a shadow. By the far archway, not walking, not running, just there, then gone. I reported it. Supervisor told me it was probably one of the other guards, but I checked, everyone accounted for. No one was in the courtyard but me. They brushed it off, told me not to spook myself, so I tried to forget it. A week later, I pulled night duty again. Different courtyard, same chill, same silence, same clang. But this time, it wasn't distant. It was behind me. I turned sharply. Nothing, but the torches along the wall flickered like something had passed by. Then I noticed the shadows weren't matching the light. There was one extra, longer, taller, and it moved when I didn't. I backed up against the wall, hand tight on my rifle, trying to remember protocol, trying to remember how to breathe. The shadow stopped, and I heard breathing, not mine, wet, strained, like lungs that had forgotten how to work. Then a whisper right in my ear. Still. I nearly ran, but I didn't. I did my duty. I stood until sunrise. After that, things got worse. All the guards felt it. We stopped talking about it, but we all knew. We moved faster in the halls, slept with lights on. Some started getting reassigned, others quit. I wanted to stay to prove I wasn't scared, but the dreams started. Always the same. The courtyard, dark, empty, then the clanging, then the whisper. Then I'd wake up to find mud on my boots, and sometimes scratches on the inside of my helmet, like something had tried to get in. I started researching. Old records, rumors. Talked to a retired sergeant who served in the 70s. He told me quietly, "We don't guard the castle from people. We guard it from what's underneath." I didn't believe him until the last night. They rotated me back to the north courtyard, the one from the first incident. I stood at post, heart already pounding. At exactly 3 a.m., the torches went out, all of them, one by one, until the only light was the moon. Then came the clanging. Not random now, rhythmic, steady, marching. From the far arch, it emerged, wearing the same red uniform, same bearskin hat, but its face rotten, eyes missing, skin gray and sloughing off. It walked like a puppet, each step jerky, wrong, but it came straight for me. I wanted to run, but couldn't. Not because of duty, because I physically couldn't move. Like the air had turned solid, the thing stopped a foot away, raised a hand, touched my chest, its fingers burned through the fabric. I screamed, but no sound came out. Then it said, "You are mine now." I woke up in the infirmary, burn mark on my chest. They told me I'd passed out, stress, exhaustion, maybe a minor seizure. I knew better. They let me go a month later, said I wasn't fit for duty. No explanation on the papers, just silence. I still have the mark. It doesn't heal. Sometimes it pulses. Especially when I hear metal strike stone or when I see shadows that don't match anything. I don't talk about it much, but sometimes I wonder, what would have happened if I'd moved? Broken formation? Abandoned post? Would it have taken me fully? So if you visit Windsor and you see the guards standing there motionless, know this, they're not posing for photos, they're not ignoring you. They're protecting you and themselves from what walks beneath the stone. Always stand still, always face forward, and never break the line.